What's My Line? Brought to you by Diet Delight, the delicious low-calorie canned fruit. And now let's all play What's My Line? And now, live from New York, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the star of the forthcoming motion picture, The Alphabet Murders, with Anita Ekberg, Mr. Tony Randall.
It is a very great pleasure indeed to welcome for the first time to What's My Line a fascinatingly knowledgeable young lady. Her syndicated column, A Woman's View of the News, appears in the New York Journal American. Dr. Joyce Brothers.
I wouldn't switch with any woman in history. Their enchantment to me is a mystery. But I do wish I could come up with all the answers. I wish I were the charming Arlene Francis.
And now a gentleman who is wearing a Cheshire Cat expression tonight, because Random House represents 5 of the 10 bestsellers on the bestseller list across the nation this week. Mr. Bennett Cerf.
Just luck, Arlene. Well, I'm kind of tired of introducing John Charles Daly, so tonight, with your permission, I'd like to say a word about his wonderful wife, Virginia, whose father, Chief Justice Warren, celebrated his 75th birthday last night, and we all congratulate him, and we think the country can be happy to have such a wonderful Chief Justice. And while I'm on the subject, John's not a bad fellow himself. And here he is, John Charles Daly.
Thank you, Bennett. The Chief Justice will be pleased. I must say, if the expression 75 years young ever had any validity, this is the case when it certainly does. I think the Chief Justice gets younger every time he has a birthday. Dr. Brothers, it's nice to have you here on the panel. Spring has gotten, I think spring started today, if I read things correctly, and spring has gotten into our veins, so the 4 of you are going to have some fun tonight, and it's nice to have some good doctors of philosophy.
Spring brings out the bad poetry in me, like the full moon does, I guess, a werewolf.
Well, we'll have some fun. We'll also have a famous mystery guest before the panel a little bit later in the program. But right now, let's meet our first contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please?
Mickey Hickman. And Renee Porter, right?
If I may, is it Miss or Mrs. Porter?
Mrs.
Mrs. Porter. And is it Miss or Mrs. Hickman?
Mrs.
Mrs. Hickman and Mrs. Porter. Just to show the panel that spring has really arrived, I'm going to tell them now we won't give them any idea where you come from. They'll have to find that out some other way. But I would present the panel, if I may. And now if you two will join me over here, I think it's time to let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. Panel, we can tell you that Mrs. Hickman and Mrs. Porter are salaried and deal in a service. And I think we'll begin the festivities with Tony Randall.
I don't know why, but I have an uncanny hunch that you're related. Yes. Your sisters.
Yes, yeah.
You perform a service for both men and women?
Yes.
I'm sorry, did I understand that you said they were salaried?
Yes.
And you work for a profit-making organization?
Yes.
Is there anything entertaining about the service you perform, ladies?
Yes.
Are you performers of some sort?
Not in the sense that we use performers. In other words, you're speaking of the theater or television or radio or the cinema.
Or demonstrators, that sort of thing?
Well, have a good shot at it while you're at it. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Dr. Brothers.
Would the place that you come from give an indication to us, for example, Las Vegas or something of that, or England? Would you have...
Well, we would
it be a
agree that
place?
if we would agree, Dr. Brothers, that if we had announced where they'd come from, it might have given you some indication as to what the service was that they performed.
Would there be a gambling function in what you do? Yes.
Very smart.
Is it... obviously there's a game of chance. Do you run a game of chance of some kind in a gambling casino? Yes. Let's see. There would either be dice involved or a wheel. Now, how I got to choose.
Cards.
Or cards. Would there be dexterity involved in what you do? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Only if they're crooked.
Let's see. Is there a wheel involved? No.
A wheel. No wheels. 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, then, shall we reduce it to either cards or dice?
Yes.
Let's take cards. Are you involved in the game of cards in some way?
Yes.
Are you blackjack champions?
Yes. And I think probably you've guessed 1 or 2 or 3 of the possibilities as to their residence. Both Mrs. Hickman and Mrs. Porter come from Reno, Nevada. And Mrs. Porter is at Harrah's, right? And Mrs. Hickman is at Harold's Club, and they are blackjack dealers. No special training involved, they said. And golly, I must say that I wish I had more training when I get to play blackjack. But if I were to play blackjack, the first thing I do is throw all the cards over, right? When you play blackjack.
It would be a pleasure to lose.
There's a book out called Beat the Dealer, which is supposed to tell you how to beat blackjack. Is there any validity in that book, do you know?
Harold Sr. wrote a book, and I have a few for the audience and for you.
Well, this book tells you how to beat Harold Sr.
This is how to quit winners.
How to quit winners? Just walk away from them and leave them there. Oh, you mean the other way? And Mr. Harold wrote this?
Yes.
Now, there's a courageous man.
I thought they changed the rules in blackjack because of some discovery.
It's a Thorpe book. It's called Beat the Dealer.
Is that not so?
He'd worked out rules of probability, and then they changed the rules of probability by increasing the number of decks that they use.
And
How do you like our doctor of psychology?
Yeah.
You don't think I make my money being a psychologist, do you?
Took all of her graduate degrees in Reno and Las Vegas. Pretty good, I must say. Well, I must say also, Mrs. Hickman and Mrs. Porter, I'm sorry we didn't give them more trouble. We thought we would. We hoped we'd get them off. But bless you both for coming to us, and hope you enjoyed your visit to us as we will enjoy visiting you. Needless to say, they're more than sisters. They're twins, as you probably all guessed. Well, we'll have another contestant for you in just a moment after this word. And now to meet another challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Evelyn Gray. Miss or Mrs. Gray?
Mrs.
Mrs. Gray, and where are
Yes.
you from?
Natick, Massachusetts.
Oh, that's between Boston and Framingham, right
Yes.
next to Wellesley?
Yes.
That's my old home country. Nice to have you here
It's a
with
lovely
us.
town.
It is indeed. Mrs. Gray, may I present our panel? Now, if you'll join me over here, we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Mrs. Gray is salaried and deals in a product. And we'll begin things with Arlene Francis.
Is it a product I might use, Mrs. Gray?
You could.
Do both men and women use it?
Yes.
You say that as though they're not crazy about it. But anyway, is it a product that one finds out of doors?
Yes.
Is it a product that has anything to do with animals?
No.
No. 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mrs. Gray, did your hesitation before indicate that it's used more by one sex than another?
Yes, it is.
Would it be more likely to be used by the female sex?
No.
No. That's 2 down and 8 to go. And congratulations, Bennett Cerf. Mr. Randall.
This is a product that men tend to use out of doors. Is that it?
Yes.
Is it a manufactured product?
Yes.
Does it have any parts that are animal in origin?
Yes.
Is it used in recreation?
Yes.
Is it seasonal?
Yes.
You're doing splendidly, Tony. I'm proud of you.
I frighten myself. Well, does it have something to do with something similar to a baseball?
Yes.
Is it either a baseball or a baseball glove?
Yes.
I'm stuck. I pass. I pass.
Do you make baseballs?
He has a part in it. Actually, I'm going to throw all the cards over.
Sew them?
Hides.
Right,
Sews
sews them,
sews them.
stitches them is the right word.
I didn't even get my record. I never get anything.
But you know, Mrs. Gray is with the H. Harwood and Sons
Yes.
Incorporated, right? Founded in 1858. They've been making baseballs for 108 years. You're in your 108th year now.
Yes.
And a lot of fascinating things about it. They have never been able to make a machine to make baseballs.
Never.
It has to be
That stitching is
hand-stitched,
done by hand.
done by
All
hand.
done by
Now, why do
hand.
they call the ball a horsehide? Is it made of horse skin, the
Yes.
cover?
The league ball, the softball is made of cowhide.
Or the softball's made of cowhide?
But the regular baseball is made of horsehide.
Horsehide.
Would the accuracy of the stitching affect how fast the ball would go?
No.
But the stitching process is such an exacting task that it takes about 2 years to train somebody to do it properly. you
Well,
see.
a year.
Year? You could do it in a year. Uh-huh.
It's the stitches that enable people like Sandy Koufax to pitch curves. If they get hold of the stitches in a certain way, isn't that so? And release it in a certain way, that makes the ball do the dipsy-doodle.
And it's the stitches, too, that make Sandy Koufax and Drysdale able to hold out. Yes.
Hope
What?
they get what they want, too.
Till they give it. I hope they do, too. But now you sew them when the leather is wet.
Yes. It's damp.
Damn.
And we get it when it's damp. And you have to, there's 2 pieces. It's in a figure 8. And it's tacked down, and we have 2 needles. It's stitched with 2 needles and 2 pieces of red thread, the length of my arm. And a good stitcher can stitch one in 9.5 minutes.
A good stitcher can do one in 9.5 minutes.
Yes.
Oh, great.
What's your record?
I did 50 one day.
Wow.
You should hang in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I must say it would enhance the Baseball Hall of Fame if she did. Thank you very much, Mrs.
Thank
Gray.
you.
Nice of you to come and visit us. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, this... All right, now the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which the panel is always blindfolded, as you know. The blindfold's all in place panel.
Yes, indeed.
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? Just a reminder, panel, that we use the other form of questioning in this instance. One question at a time, moving clockwise, and we will begin with Bennett, sir.
This is somebody who obviously brings down the house. Are you a bright, shining star in the theatrical firmament?
No.
No, I'd have to correct that answer. Were you speaking broadly, Bennett, of the performing arts?
Well, of course.
Yeah, then we'll give you a yes. Mr. Randall.
That sounded like one of the loudest voices I've ever heard.
Mine?
No.
One who said no. Oh.
But it was almost impossible to tell if it was a man or a woman. Are you a man or a woman? Am I on?
Yeah, you're on.
I'm on the right track so far, eh? Are you a loud-mouthed woman?
No.
No, we'll have to leave the yes there, too. In other words, we'll take all the adjectives out and we'll give you an affirmative. Dr. Brothers.
Are you a singer?
Yeah, sort of, yeah. Miss Francis?
Are you saying sort of seriously and you're not leading us down the garden path or anything?
Oh, no, not this early in the spring.
Well, by that I mean, are you saying sort of as opposed to really first-class singer?
Yeah, sort of. What we mean is that our
sort of.
guest does sing, yes, but we would not suggest that this was the paramount.
Was it?
Right.
Uh-huh. Are you a motion picture performer?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Sir.
Are you somebody who makes people laugh?
Yes.
Certainly has to.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Randall.
I think I've got the voice.
I think so.
I think it's Carol Burnett. You were deliberately misleading us. She is a loud-mouthed woman.
That is something that you and Carol can discuss together.
I don't know what you mean by that.
I'll meet you after the show.
Yeah. I must say, Carol, I didn't think we'd get away with too much tonight because it's such good news that you're going to come back and do some television this week on
I'm thrilled.
Tuesday night at 8:30, Carol plus 2.
Yeah.
A special. And every time Carol's there, it should be a special. With Lucille Ball and Zero Mostel. And it's going to be great fun.
Yeah.
We keep in touch. We've been friends for a long time. We have the same doctor, Dr. Zahn. That's how I know what happens to you, because I say, what do you hear from Carol? He tells me.
Oh, he tells me all about your ills, too.
Sounds like
Well, but anyway, this sounds like great fun. All the Sunday papers are talking
It
about
is.
the skits that you're doing.
We had a ball, no pun intended. Working with Lucy and Zero was just delightful, and I was, a little apprehensive because a lot of people say, oh, wait till 3 comics get together in rehearsals. You know, they're going to be fireworks and stuff, and we were like 3 dinosaurs meeting under a mistletoe. We had a marvelous time. They are 2 beautiful, lovely, professional, hardworking people. They like to rehearse, which so few people do. You know, some of them like to phone it in, but they love to rehearse. And we laughed and scratched for 2 weeks rehearsing.
Well, now an important question. You
Yes.
had a rather rough time with illness. Is that all straightened
Well, I'm
out?
just a born klutz, but I'm fine now.
Yeah, all
Yes,
that-
so far, so good. I tripped coming in here, but other than that, everything is fine.
Well, good. I'm glad we didn't break any of your bones. Thank you, Carol.
very much,
Lovely
John.
to have you with us.
Thank you.
Well, I'm happy you gave her such a warm welcome. She's a wonderful gal, and the panel should get some kudos. They've done wonderfully tonight. I offer congratulations, and we'll have another contestant after this word. And now a final contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Harold Levine. Right, sir? All right. Mr. Levine, where are you from, sir?
New Haven, Connecticut.
New Haven, Connecticut.
Right.
Nice to have you with us. May I present the panel?
All right.
And you've got some friends in the house from New Haven, so let's go to work. We'll first of all let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Mr. Levine is self-employed and deals in a product, and we'll begin things with Dr. Brothers.
Is your product a product that would be found in the home?
I think so.
Would it be found in one room rather than any other room in the house, particularly?
No. 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Is it a product that ever touches the person in any way?
Yes.
Would it be considered apparel?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Levine, does your product help the health or in any way cleanse the person who uses it?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Randall.
In a general sense, is your product consumed?
No.
All right, in a specific sense, is it consumed?
No.
Small conference. Did you mean in the general sense of used up, Tony? At one point or another?
I must be honest and say I meant as in eaten.
Oh, good show. 4 down and 6 to go, Dr. Brothers.
I won't be as honest as Tony, and I'll say, is it used up in any way?
Well, it can be. What we're accepting is that as a product, we'll agree at one point or another it might no longer function efficiently. Would that be right?
I think so.
Is its function primarily a disposable function? That is it disposable?
No.
Nope. That's 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
When it comes in contact with the body, can you hold it in your hand?
Yes.
In fact, if you're going to use it, should you hold it in your hand in order to use it?
Yes.
Is it hard rather than soft?
Could be.
I would say the general description of it would be that it was a firm product.
Uh-huh. Is it a product that is used for any kind of communication whatsoever?
No.
If we go way out, you know, it could have a...
Like an Indian sign. That's pretty far out.
Like smoke.
Yeah.
Yes, smoke. Whatever it is.
Yeah, I think, now, Arlie, we don't want to mislead you, but we want to be fair. We will agree that this product could be utilized in the general field of communication and has been, but we do not suggest that this is its principal function.
Uh-huh. Is there something useful rather than decorative about this product?
No, I wouldn't think we could go 6 down and 4 to go and give you 30 seconds.
It is more decorative than useful.
That makes it 7 down.
We've said it was not useful.
It's not
but
useful nor decorative?
We can't agree it's decorative. Actually, I want to throw them all over because it's fun. This was our spring occupation, you see. The month of March has come. Now, what do you do in the month of March? Everyone.
You dig in the garden if you
No,
have
you go out and
clean up.
buy a kite, and you go out and fly your kite in the March spring, right? And Mr. Levine is president of Allen Whitney Company of New Haven. They make a very special kite called the Spacebird kite, which a lot of kids and a lot of grown-ups have a wonderful time with, and we've had a wonderful time with it. Thank you, Mr. Levine. Nice to have had you in What's My Line. Dr. Brothers, may I say it's been a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to surf on the panel.
Thank you.
It's catching.
And Tony, it's good to see you here. I'm going to tell something about Tony. He's leaving tomorrow and going to Milwaukee, where he's going to work in the interest of VISTA, the Domestic Peace Corps, which I think is one of the bright opportunities for the future. And we're proud of you. And he's going to Pittsburgh next week, and good night, Mr. Randall, from Milwaukee, and I hope Pittsburgh, too. You have a lot of fun.
Thank you very much, John. Vista thanks you. Good night, Joyce. Lovely to have you.
Good night. Good night, Arlene.
Good night, Joyce. Congratulations, Tony. And you be peaceful, too. Good
Thank you,
night,
Arlene.
Bennett.
And as Mr. Levine would say to you, John, go fly a kite. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line is a CBS television